Welcome back! Last time we explored the project initiation phase. Today we dive into the project planning. For this, we are turning to Robin Knox Johnston, the first person to sail solo non-stop around the globe. Robin's journey was a fascinating case study for project planning. And don't worry, we'll circle back to the story of Donald Crowhurst later on. Later in this video, I will hand over the presentation to my newly created avatar, complete with voice and video. It will be a bit of quiz to spot this part of the video. Now, let's break down to the main components of the project planning phase. First, we have the project plan, the big picture strategy. Think of it as your ship's blueprint. Without it, you are just like a galley slave. Next component is the project schedule. These days, skippers have GPS-based navigation, weather forecasting to keep them on course. But back in 1968, Robin Knox Johnston had a sextant, a barometer, a lot of hope that the wind would blow in the right direction. Then there is a budget. Robin's budget was, let's say, tiny. Yet he proved that it's not about the size of your wallet, but how creative you are to stretch it. The scope baseline is like marking the boundaries of your race course. Stay too far and you are either disqualified or lost in a Bermuda Triangle, wondering what went wrong. Finally, there is a risk management. Robin faced storms, broken radio, sharks, leaky boat, and even loneliness. For us, it might be team delays, budget overruns, or that one stakeholder who keeps saying, just one more small change, the kind of request that gets you angry. Together, these components ensure your project or your boat stays afloat.
1960s, there was little precedent for how long this new race might take. Francis Chichester had completed his voyage in 9 months, with a stop, but no one knew for certain if the human body and mind could cope with the stresses of sailing the route non-stop and alone.
I wanted sponsorship so I could build a much bigger boat, faster boat. I wanted to build a 56-footer, which Colin Moody did design for me, and I needed about 2,500–3,000 to build her out of steel. And the rest of the money would have gone on things like radios and food and stuff. That's why I needed £5,000. Anyway, I couldn't raise it, so I got Sue Haley. I was trying to sell her, but no one was interested, so I thought, well, I've got a boat, I'll take that. But I was going, there was no argument about it.
The project plan is the formal, approved document that guides how a project is executed, monitored, and controlled. It brings together critical elements like scope, timelines, costs, and quality into one cohesive roadmap. But what happens when you skip planning? Imagine a small 2-seater airplane pilot ignoring essential steps like checking the weather, creating a flight plan, calculating fuel reserves, and running through the pre-flight checklist. To illustrate, let's turn to some funny moments from Spielberg's comedy 1941.
Fill her up. That's it. Wait! I'm lost.
Next, I'll demonstrate how ChatGPT can generate project documents using the following example. Project description.
Let's check how ChatGPT can help us to create project plan. So here in a prompt window, we put a short description. What's the plan for a new project? Well, I'm defining 2 steps. The first step will be the building of the new single-handed ocean sailing yacht. As you can see, there are all standard phases of the project management in a waterfall model. There's project initiation, project planning, project execution, monitoring, and project closure. We can get an Excel version of the project plan. Excel format of the project plan. We can see here.
Project schedule. A project schedule is a planned timeline that defines the start and finish dates for project activities, aligning them with available resources to ensure timely completion of project objectives. It includes task sequences, durations, milestones, and dependencies. The release of Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red serves as a cautionary tale of how poor project schedule management can lead to serious consequences. Despite the high anticipation, the rushed schedule resulted in major setbacks, missed deadline, and rushed product. After several delays, the game was pushed out in December 2020. However, it launched with numerous bugs and performance issues, especially on older consoles, undermining the promised experience. The disastrous release caused CD Projekt Red's stock price to plummet by nearly 30%, reputation damage and refunds. The game was pulled from the PlayStation Store, and full refunds were issued to dissatisfied customers, resulting in further financial losses and severe damage to the company's reputation.
Project budget is the approved estimate of the costs required to complete a project, including all planned expenses for resources, materials, and activities, and it serves as the baseline for measuring project cost performance. When it comes to the project budget, the Sydney Opera House stands as one of the most famous cautionary tales. Originally budgeted at 7 million Australian dollars with a 4-year timeline, the project ended up costing over 100 million and took 16 years to complete.
First conceived in 1956, government wanted work to begin before the upcoming elections. So, with incomplete preparations, the construction got underway in 1959, with a 4-year construction timetable and a $7 million budget. Since construction was running ahead of the design, a chain reaction of problems plagued the project, and costs began escalating right from the start. 7 years after they started, the costs had already reached $22 million, 3 times the initial budget. The roof was finished 3 years later, and the use of more than 1 million specially designed ceramic tiles pushed the budget to $85 million. The interior design of the project required a new set of plans and an additional $17 million, taking the total cost to $102 million, which is over 14 times higher than originally planned. The Opera House, meanwhile, has gone on to become one of the most important buildings in the country.
Now, I would like to walk you through an example of straightforward budget planning supported by AI. This scenario focuses on an exciting project, creating a budget for building a new sailing yacht specifically designed for a solo race around the world. It's a great opportunity to see how AI can simplify the process and make ambitious projects more achievable. I will use GPT to create a project budget based on the documents we have created before. I used the function of attach file and attach the sailing project plan from the previous material and ask GPT to create our document for project budget. So let me make a prompt here. I have the response from GPT. So we didn't get any information about the budget because GPT lacks the data in the file about the cost estimation. So we'll try to ask another prompt. Maybe we'll get the answer. This is the one. Yeah, we got it. So GPT provided us some budget data It looks reasonable at the first look. The data is in USD, $360,000 per whole project. It's general, but when the system creates you the budget, you can drill down and ask the details of preparing the numbers which we get. Project baseline and management. Project baseline is a approved version of project scope, schedule, and cost used as a reference point to monitor and control the project performance. Risk management involves identifying, analyzing, and responding to the project to minimize and maximize opportunities to project life cycle. What exactly? Work breakdown structure, WBS. The WBS divides the project into the smaller manageable work packages, offering a detailed breakdown of the project's deliverables. Finishing this chapter about the project planning, we are now ready to move to the next phase, project execution. Don't worry, this is not about anything dramatic like in the movies. In project management, execution just means starting the work and following the plan. So let's keep things simple and focus on how to turn our plans into the real results.